Okay, we're here to talk about how to adjust the string height on your guitar. We're going to start off with using the Strat here because it's got a very typical type of bridge system and string adjustment system. And I got another guitar I'll show you on how to work with too. But again, this is probably one of the more common setups that we're going to work with. So what you'll need to check out the string height on your guitar is the proper Allen wrench screw or screwdriver for each saddle. I'm going to need a flathead screwdriver for the bigger adjustments, and then also what you're going to want to get to really check each string correctly is a 64th ruler. All right, usually they have these little thin metal ones that you can get at just about any hardware store, and they measure 64ths. We're going to be working with some small increments here, so you need to, it's pretty necessary to be able to get down to a 64ths measurement, okay? So what we're going to be setting up this guitar at is 4 64ths. Now that's a pretty typical string height. Sometimes if you got like a soloing guitar that's meant to shred and play fast, you can get it down to 3. But anything below 4 or 3, you're going to start getting a lot of problems with buzz. Plus, the strings are going to be really close to the fretboard. So, you know, around 4 64ths is typical. If you do like slide guitar or play with a slide, sometimes you want to go a little bit higher. But again, 4 is where we're going to be at. So this string is this guitar has size 10 strings on it. We want to set the string height before we do the intonation. All right, we already adjusted the truss rod on this, so the next thing we want to do to set up our guitar is the string height. Now, this type of guitar, let me zoom in over here, has a couple different types of adjustments. All right, we have 2 screws on the left and right. These are going to raise up both sides of the bridge in a much more larger fashion, I guess you could say. We have the screws here on each saddle, which are going to give us control over each string. So we'll be able to first set a general height, and then we can make sure each string is set to the right setting. Okay? So the thing we want to do to test out each string's height, we're going to use our 64th ruler. And you know, you're going to want to find where the 4 64ths marking is, okay? The way we measure it is that we put the ruler down on the 17th fret, okay? Now you're going to lay it down flat right on top of the fret. Let me see if I can get a better angle here for you. All right. So we're going to lay it down touching the fret, not the fretboard. We're going to be right on the fret. Now what you measure is from the top of the fret to the bottom of the string. So if I have this down here, okay, you can see that I'm laying my ruler right on the fret, and now what I want to measure is the string, the distance between the bottom of the string to the top of the fret, and that should be at 4 64ths, okay? So if it's not, what you want to first start off doing, make a coarse adjustment if you need to on the bigger strings. Again, these are going to affect every string, so you're going to be very careful with that and take it slow. After you get that set to a general, you know, range that's close, then what we do is get your Allen wrench in there and then make the adjustments very in small increments to make sure that you get it as close to 4 64ths as you can. So each saddle, if you notice, has a left and right screw. So you're going to want to start off by maybe turning each one a quarter turn or a half turn, and then again, put your ruler back to the height and see where it's at. It takes some getting used to. You might put it a little bit out of whack at first, so it takes some practice. But after you get each string set up, make sure that they're at 4 64ths and you should be good. Okay, this will allow it also to follow the curvature of the fretboard. Some fretboards are completely flat, some have a little bit of an arc like this. So what you want to do is make sure that each string follows the right curve of the fretboard. Okay, so that's pretty much it on a Strat. So let me show you something like what a Floyd Rose setup has on it. This is my Ibanez with a Floyd Rose bridge. Now, if you notice on this one, this just has two adjustments, okay? I can't alter each string height. These screws here are for the intonation, so we're not going to work with those right now. So the only way I can adjust the string height is by either this adjustment or this one. So this can't get as accurate, but you could still get just as close. One of the reasons why is because this type of fretboard is very flat, so it's only really necessary to have the two. But you would adjust it the same exact way. If you get the right size Allen wrench screw, turn it maybe a quarter turn or half turn, up or down, whatever way you need to go. Now this type of guitar I might try and get a little bit lower with, because this is meant to be played a little bit faster, and it's good for soloing and stuff like that. The other types of guitars you might see, if you have like a Gibson Les Paul, they have what's called a two-pneumatic bridge. Those usually have two round kind of thumb screws that you could adjust to, again, bring the overall height up or down. Okay, but that's about it. For any other type of guitar, usually you have the two screws on the left and right of the saddle like we saw in our Strat. So that's about it. It's going to take some practice. Generally, you want to minimize buzz. You'll notice that if you get too close to the fretboard and bring your strings too low, you'll start experiencing a lot of buzz when you play your notes, and we want to avoid that. So if 4/64 for some reason is too low, then bring it up to the point where you're not experiencing any more buzz. And you want to check the truss rod too, because that'll also affect the type of tone and the amount of buzz you get from your notes. Okay, so that's how to adjust your string height. Good luck with that, and we'll see you soon.